Welcome back, young scholars. In this video, we will be continuing our exploration of the Byzantine Empire. The big questions you should be able to answer after watching this video are: first, in what ways did the Byzantine Empire continue the cultural traditions of the Roman Empire, and in what ways did they change them? And then what role did the Byzantines play in trans-regional trade? So a CCOT question: in what ways did the Byzantine empires continue the cultural traditions of the Roman Empire, and in what ways did they change them? The Byzantines considered themselves to be an extension of the Roman Empire. If you'll recall, the Roman Empire was split into two: the Eastern Roman Empire and the Western Roman Empire. The Western Roman Empire collapsed in 476 CE. The Eastern Roman Empire continued on, and really it's historians who have renamed the Eastern Roman Empire in order to more easily distinguish it from the previous consolidated Roman Empire. But the Byzantines considered themselves to be Roman. They continued the legal traditions of the Roman Empire. So we talked about Justinian's code. They continued the religious traditions, Christianity. They continued a lot of the architecture and art style. So here we can see an image showing Constantinople. You can see the large domed architecture. It's very traditional of Roman architecture. You can see the large hippodrome, this stadium for racing horses, the aqueducts. So they really were a extension of the old Roman Empire. Constantinople was called the New Rome, or the Second Rome. The laws, the religion, the architecture were all influenced by Rome, and therefore could be considered a continuity of Roman culture. However, the empire's geographic location, closer to the Eastern Mediterranean, also meant that it was heavily influenced by Greek or Hellenistic culture, and this can be a change. So for example, the predominant language in the Roman Empire was Latin, and in the Byzantine Empire it was Greek. So Greek replaced Latin as the official language of the Byzantine Empire. Now another major continuity was the continuation of Christianity, right? Christianity continued as the state religion of the Byzantine Empire. It had been the state religion previously, since the conversion of the Emperor Constantine in the old Roman Empire. However, a major change is that there was a split within Christianity between the Roman Catholic side and the Eastern Orthodox side. So as Christianity became more hierarchical, as we started to see more power flowing to the top with the Pope and the cardinals, eventually splits began to emerge over church doctrine as power begins to become concentrated. And so one of the major doctrinal divisions within Christianity was over the use of images. This is known as the iconoclasm movement. So iconoclasm, this movement to rid Christianity of its icons, these religious images. Almost every religious tradition has had this challenge with how to worship images of prophets, or in the case of Christianity with Jesus, divine beings. And so iconoclasm was this movement to rid Christianity of its icons. Many Christians were influenced by their Islamic neighbors, who remember what their position is on images. The Quran pretty expressly forbids any images depicting either Allah or the Prophet Muhammad. And so a very similar movement in Christianity. Eventually it will die down, and Christians today pretty universally worship images, but this is going to lead to some of these divisions and splits within Christianity. Christianity had been a relatively unified religion in its early years. Eventually, though, we're going to start to see splits in the same way that we saw splits in Islam and in Buddhism. The first major split within Christianity is between the Roman Catholics and the Eastern Orthodox Church. The word Catholic means universal. The word Orthodox means right thinking. So obviously, the idea was the Catholics said, we are the one church, the universal church, and the Eastern Orthodox says, no, wait, we are the right thinking church. So this is known as the Great Schism. Christianity splits into two sects around 1054 CE. And in terms of the differences between the two, so the Pope is the head of the church in the Roman Catholic faith. In the Eastern Orthodox faith, it's the Patriarch. But remember, the Patriarch is appointed by the Byzantine Emperor. So there's a little bit more mix between church and state in the Eastern Orthodox Byzantine world than there was in the Roman Catholic world. The Pope is going to claim authority over all emperors and kings, and as we can probably guess, the Byzantine emperor wasn't too cool with that. So the emperor is going to claim absolute power. Remember the term Caesar-opapism. The services in the Roman Catholic Church are conducted in Latin, and we can maybe guess in the Eastern Orthodox Church they're conducted in Greek. Priests cannot marry in the Roman Catholic Church. Priests can marry in the Eastern Orthodox faith. The sides don't necessarily see eye to eye. For example, the Pope wears white, the Patriarch wears black. In the Catholic faith, men are supposed to shave. In the Eastern Orthodox Church, they're supposed to wear beards. In the Roman Catholic Church, when you take communion, it's unleavened bread. So it's like these wafer crackers. In the Eastern Orthodox Church, you have leavened bread. So it tastes more like actual bread. So just some other small little differences between the two. Cyril and Methodius are these Greek brothers. They're missionaries. And they're going to be really critical for the spread of the Eastern Orthodox faith. So they're going to travel throughout Eastern Europe, the Balkan regions, to convert people to Orthodox Christianity. Now, why this is important is you can see here we have what would have been the Byzantine Empire, right? Modern day Greece, Turkey. Eventually Islam is going to come and conquer with the conquest of the Byzantines. But you're going to see where the Eastern Orthodox faith spreads, right? Across Eastern Europe and eventually up into Russia. And in addition to spreading religion, these two missionaries are going to develop an alphabet system, the Cyrillic alphabet system, which is a written language that's still widely used today throughout Eastern Europe and into Russia. So that's one of the major ways in which this different alphabetic system was spread was as a result of these missionaries, Cyril and Methodius, and that's why they're important. And later we'll come back when we talk about Russia to talk about the Byzantines' influence on Russia. And so here we can see the different systems of alphabet used worldwide. We can see the Latin-based alphabet system in the Americas, Sub-Saharan Africa. We can see Arabic across the Middle East, North Africa. We can see the Cyrillic alphabet being used in parts of Eastern Europe and Russia. And then you have other systems in South Asia and East Asia. So what role did the Byzantines play in trans-regional trade? So as you can see, the city of Constantinople was really at a central location in terms of trade in the Mediterranean region and the Black Sea. And it was really a crossroads between Asia and Europe, which, as we know, the Silk Road was going on. There was a lot of transmission of goods across Eurasia. And so Constantinople had a critical geographic location between the Mediterranean Sea and the Black Sea, and also as a bridge between Asia and Europe. So Constantinople's geographic location made it a crossroads for trade. And therefore, like other cities during this period, we're going to see lots and lots of traders from diverse regions coming into the various markets of Constantinople and selling their goods. Now, with the collapse of the Western Roman Empire, we really have economic disruption across Europe. And so in the Eastern Mediterranean, the one kind of common currency that's going to tie everyone together in that region is the Byzantines system. So the Byzant is the Byzantines currency, and it becomes really the standard currency across the entire Mediterranean basin during this period 3. So the Byzantines are going to really dominate Mediterranean trade, and they're also going to control this kind of strategic spot between the Mediterranean Sea and also the Indian Ocean sea lanes down here. So if any goods need to get to Europe, they basically have to go through this region where the Byzantines controlled. One of the items or goods that the Byzantines are going to produce, they are going to steal the technology from China. So the Chinese, if you recall, had basically an exclusive monopoly over silk. Eventually, Byzantine monks, I don't know why that looks like a Buddhist monk, are going to come to China, and they're going to, according to the story, take away these silkworms and bring them back to the Byzantine Empire. And still to this day, in the region of Turkey, there is a lot of silk weaving and silk production. So silk becomes an important industry after silkworms are imported from China. Eventually, Constantinople is going to be conquered in 1453 by the Ottoman Turks. And as a result of that, Europeans are going to start looking for new sea routes to Asia. They're not going to want to have to pass through the Islamic middlemen in this region here. And so, but this is what they basically thought the world was like in 1482. Many of them are going to seek new routes over here, water routes to Asia. And so their options are twofold. One, they could go down here around Africa. Oh, but wait a second. They don't know very much about sub-Saharan Africa. They're not even sure if they can do that. Or if you're Christopher Columbus, you start thinking about how you can go this way, right? Travel west in order to go east. And so we'll see the importance of this particular date, 1453, the collapse of the city of Constantinople, and eventually how that leads to increased European exploration, and then in period 4, colonization in the Americas. So the big questions you should be able to answer after watching this video are: in what ways did the Byzantine Empire continue the cultural traditions of the Roman Empire, and in what ways did they change them? And then what role did the Byzantines play in trans-regional trade? Thanks for watching. Did they change them? And then what role did the Byzantines play in trans-regional trade? So a CCOT question: in what ways did the Byzantine empires continue the cultural traditions of the Roman Empire, and in what ways did they change them? The Byzantine continued on, and really it's historians who have renamed the Eastern Roman Empire in order to more easily distinguish it from the previous consolidated Roman Empire. But the Byzantines considered themselves to be Roman. They continued. Welcome back. Byzantines considered themselves to be an extension of the Roman Empire. If you'll recall, the Roman Empire was split into two, the Eastern Roman Empire and the Western Roman Empire. The Western Roman Empire collapsed in 476 CE. The Eastern Roman Empire. Young scholars. In this video, we will be continuing our exploration of the Byzantine Empire. The big questions you should be able to answer after watching this video are: first, in what ways did the Byzantine Empire continue the cultural traditions of the Roman Empire, and in what ways